If you clicked on this video, there is a very strong likelihood that you may be experiencing a creative block. I, much like you, go through this pretty frequently, and so I thought today it would be fun to introduce a few ideas, some pieces of advice, and some exercises to try to get unstuck and get back to creating. My first piece of creative advice is to access someone else's expertise, and this could be phoning a friend who, for example, is a musician, maybe you're a painter, and the two of you have a conversation and give one another some sort of prompt or some sort of encouragement to get started on a project. Something that I have witnessed a lot in different creative communities is that there can be some gatekeeping where people don't feel compelled to really talk to each other about process, or maybe we're afraid to ask for advice because we feel like someone's going to take our ideas. But I want to challenge you to really connect with other creative people in your sphere, in your circle, whatever, and ask them for advice. Ask them what their process looks like. And as an exercise, maybe something you could do is trade crafts or forms of expression with someone you're close with and give each other a prompt. This practice is probably going to turn out terribly, right? Like, you at your first go are not going to be good at these things inherently. But the point is to kind of get your creative juices going, put yourself in a different mentality so that you can access a different stream of creative energy. Another really great thing about accessing the people in your community who are also creative is that you can very directly ask them, hey, what would you be interested in seeing my interpretation of? This could prompt you to paint or draw or create music about something that you just never thought to create yourself. I think it's really important to sort of outsource ideas when we feel stuck and not get so caught up in this idea that every single aspect of our creativity has to be entirely individualistic. It's important to ask other people hey, what do you think is compelling that maybe I'm overlooking or that I never thought of myself? And then you can apply that to your own skill set, and you're just going to keep getting better and better at whatever it is that you like to do creatively. My second piece of advice is to go to a bookstore. Go to your local bookseller and find your way to a section that is interesting to you visually. And this could be anything. This is going to be very personal. For me, I love chairs and I love font. So if I see design-related books about furniture and typography, I'm there. I think there is something really important about surrounding ourselves and sort of engaging with visual art that we just think is really fascinating and beautiful and sparks something within us. So maybe you're feeling stuck and you don't know what to create. Go to the bookstore, walk around, look at some book covers, look at some design books, flip through the pages, sit on the floor at the Barnes & Noble, find some things that inspire you. I think there's something very important about engaging with physical media and just having this sort of tactile experience where you feel inspired by something that you're physically connecting to, even if you bring that inspiration back to a digital medium. I think it's just important to get out in the world and be inspired by environments and other people's creations. A few really great examples of what I'm talking about here include these books that I've been really enjoying personally. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I am a sucker for these Victionary books. They're just so sick. So this one, it's New Utilitarian: Systematic Approaches to Aesthetics and Design. Next up, I want to share a book that I picked up that my friend published, which is incredible, and I'm so proud of her. This book is all of her photography over the span of several years, and I like to keep this on my coffee table and just look at it for inspiration. There is something really magical about having art that your friends created in your home, in your creative space. Anyone can go to a bookstore and buy some mass-produced publication, but there's something really, really rad about owning something that was made by someone you have a personal connection with. And so I want to shout out my friend Chelsea. She's an incredible photographer, and this book, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but I believe it's Fernweh. I'm sorry. This book is just so beautiful, and Chelsea's photography is really amazing. She's super well traveled. She was a digital nomad for a number of years, and so there's just a ton of European street photography, and it's just really cool. And another really great example is a book I've mentioned before that I'm still working my way through, and it's called The Oh No Book. It is a serious guide to irreverent type design. Just as a side note, something that I would like to do this year, not sure if it'll actually happen, but I would really love to create my own font or my own typeface. I don't even know where to begin, but this book has been really interesting to read, and I just love looking through some of these very visual heavy pages for inspiration when I'm working on design. So pick up some cool books, and maybe you don't have the money or the resources to buy a bunch of design books, which is why I suggest just go hang out at a bookstore. You can go look at books. You don't have to buy them all to feel inspired and creatively sparked by some things you see out in the world. And within this suggestion, you could also go to a library if you want. I tend to really like small indie bookstores because the vibe is just really lovely. But maybe you're in an area where that's not as accessible and you don't want to shop at Barnes & Noble because fuck corporations. You can go to your library and support your very local socialist book exchange. My third piece of advice to overcome creative blocks is to pretend you're an alien. I know this sounds kind of weird, but if I were to put myself in the shoes of an alien visiting Earth, I would probably have a lot of questions. I think a commonly shared trait of creative people is that we are very curious and we like to explore and we like to learn and ask questions. And an alien would have so many questions about the way the world works, about why humans do things the way that they do. And so I think that we could kind of embody this practice of seeing things new. An alien would be intrigued by a lot of the things that we perceive as mundane. And so if you can embody the perception of an alien and convince yourself that everything is brand new, you will have a lot of questions. You will have a lot of intrigue, and you can also come up with your own nonsensical answers to these questions that you might have, because maybe there aren't clear-cut answers to these questions. And I think, again, creativity is all about making shit up. So ask questions, come up with your own answers. The overarching point here is to change your perspective, change your point of view, shake up the way that you think about day-to-day, ordinary life things, and you might be surprised with what you take away. Tip number 4. This one is really simple. And this is something that I actually do pretty frequently, which is outsourcing the decision-making process to something that you already own. For example, picking up a book that you've been reading and opening to a random page. Whatever you land on, maybe it's a sentence, the paragraph, a word, you have to take and turn into some sort of concept. I'm big on developing concepts, and sometimes I don't have a fully baked idea. And so I like to just pull inspiration from movies or books or whatever it might be, and then reinterpret it through my own lens in my own language. So for example, maybe we take Jean Baudrillard's Simulations and we open to a random page, and there's actually a word right here in the middle of the page that is in all capital letters, and the word is implosion. So maybe I take the concept of implosion and I reimagine that into something that I can create a piece of art from. And the interpretation of a single word there's a million different things you could think of with the term implosion. There's also a phrase in here that just simply says, "This is where simulation begins." Yeah, just engaging with what's in your immediate surroundings can really help influence your creative process. And it's also a great way to use what you have, because maybe you have a lot of books laying around, but you can only read so many books at a time. Well, maybe you start using your books as a way to influence some of your creative practice. In a lot of ways, this is similar to pulling a tarot card, if that's the sort of thing that you're into. So yeah, outsource your decision making and find inspiration in the things in your immediate environment. You could also do this by asking a question and then opening a book, and you can approach your books, or you can approach a movie or whatever form of media as though it's an oracle, and that's a really fun way to get some insight to creativity as well. All right, let's talk about the best piece of advice that I can give you, and this is the final piece of advice for this video, which is to engage in a challenge that intimidates you. See your life as an experiment. I think we often get caught up in our day-to-day routines and we just sort of do the same thing on repeat. Or maybe we confine ourselves to a specific box when thinking about our creativity. Oh, I'm an illustrator, so I shouldn't really concern myself with music production. Well, that's silly because maybe you'd be an incredible music producer because you're an illustrator. I love this idea of really embracing creative challenges, and this can look a number of different ways. I'm going to give you a specific challenge that you can take on, and you can join our Discord community and actively engage with other creative people who are taking on the same challenge. I am a big fan of just experimenting in life generally, be that through the way I express myself, be that with like just trying new things and taking on new experiences. I think it's really important and it's enriching and it's how we grow and evolve and learn more about ourselves and the world around us. So creatively, I think it's important that we really like engage with challenges that feel intimidating or out of reach or maybe even totally disparate from our typical creative inclinations. A great example of a creative challenge is something like January or Inktober. And these are challenges where every single day you either produce a little track and you share a jam, or maybe you do an illustration based off of prompts that are provided at the beginning of the month. And these sorts of things can really push us outside of our comfort zone and help us acquire new skills within our creative practices. So a challenge that I am actually facilitating through the month of February over on my Discord channel is that we are all using a specific theme to create 10 pieces of original artwork throughout the month of February that we will then in March turn into a zine. So if you're interested, you can join my Discord. The link is down below in the description. This challenge is open to all skill levels. It's also open to all creative mediums. The only thing I will say is that if you're doing something like music or shooting, video, that sort of thing, you will have to get very creative in how you transform those pieces of work into a zine. But we're brainstorming, coming up with ideas, and really just creating a supportive, creative place on the Discord server. I encourage you, if you're interested, to join us. So those are my 5 exercises, if you will, to help you break out of creative blocks. Access someone else's expertise and phone a friend. Go to a bookstore and engage with physical media. Pretend you're an alien and ask lots of questions. Outsource decision-making to things in your environment. And lastly, engage in a creative challenge and join the Discord. All of that leads me to a new segment. We're doing something new here, guys. If you've been here for a minute, you know that I shared a couple videos back some of my goals and creative intentions for 2026. I created a goals poster and I also began a no-buy, a year-long no-buy. So this is my January in review segment thingy to talk to you about what I spent my money on, what I used up in my home, and what I've created, all of that good stuff. I will start with my no-buy. It's going quite well. The only things I purchased this month were a light because my living room is very dark, and then I also bought a seasonal affective disorder sun lamp thing. So those 2 things didn't feel like frivolous expenses. They were kind of like good for my brain. And otherwise, I have not bought any clothing. I have not bought any new makeup, no new jewelry, no new books, no art supplies, none of it. I said I wasn't gonna, so I didn't because I want to be accountable to you, all of my lovely friends. Some of you did say you wanted to see my empties. So here are some things I used up that I do not intend on ever buying again. I used up this container of eye patches. They were nice, but I'm too forgetful to be doing that kind of bougie stuff every day. I used up this lotion in January that I got from Lively Ghosts. It smells good. It was nice. It's kind of watery. I also used up this Tree Hut body scrub I was gifted on my birthday back in September. This little sample, this perfume sample that my partner got for me. And this smelled like dead flowers in a bad way. This is from Heretic. And I am a huge, huge fan of Heretic perfumes. Dirty Peach is like my everyday smell if you're looking for a good smell. But this smelled bad. I also got this little Lush lotion sample, used that up. Boom, this Truly body serum. And the last thing that I am very proud of that I used up in January, look at this. I have had that particular eyeshadow for probably a year and a half and I just now finished it and it's just a single color. The products that we buy, like we don't often think about how long we will be stuck with them. And so I just want to encourage you, use what you have. maybe join this little year-long challenge of doing a no buy, or maybe it's just a low buy. That's fine too. Moving on, I told you all I wanted to read a bunch of books this year. So in January, I finished Watermoon. This book is whimsical. It's bizarre, but I enjoyed it. I saw it in the bookstore and someone left a recommendation comparing it to Miyazaki films. Some of it was really weird. If any of you have read it, I'd love to talk to you about it because I did enjoy it quite a bit. I also started reading Autonomous by Anna Lee Newitz, which I've mentioned before. It's kind of slow to get started for me, but I will get through it. I finished shooting a roll of film, and I also started on a new sketchbook, so that's really exciting because my goal for 2026 is to complete 2 entire sketchbooks, so I have a lot of work ahead of me. That's pretty much all I have for today. The last thing I wanted to just throw out there, well, 2 things, I suppose. One, if you missed it, I released a new EP just a couple of weeks ago called Steel, and it is all about how much I hate AI. And I also stocked up a bunch of prints, stickers, and of course my zine. Those can all be found on my website. So if you want to support the channel, support my work in any capacity, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do that, whether it's picking up a print or maybe buying some of my tracks off of Bandcamp. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being here as always. And if you're new, please consider subscribing, leaving a comment down below, and I love you. Bye. Bye.